I'm Jen, and I make innovative English Lit study videos on Shakespeare, poetry, fiction, literary ideas, and more to help you become a literary expert. So if that sounds like what you want, then make sure to hit the subscribe button below so you never miss out on my future weekly videos. So in today's video, I want to show you all a great way to make the process of studying literary context much more fun. So if you're a literature student, you would know that context in literary studies refers to the historical background of a specific work, which includes aspects like political conditions, social circumstances, cultural trends, intellectual climate, and of course the writer's personal biography. Now, people often like to debate about just how much context is necessary for literary analysis, with proponents of close reading arguing that whatever's presented in the text is all that matters, and on the other hand, historicists believing that every literary text is a product of real, complex historical influences. Now, the likeliest answer is a balanced one. Probably no author could ever write without being influenced by at least some degree of their personal and social external circumstances, which means that every literary text must reflect history in some way. But literature is, of course, as much a work of imaginative art, which means reading too much history into our interpretation of a text would defeat the purpose of literary appreciation. Now, regardless, every literature student, whether or not you're doing GCSE, A-level, IB, or any other curriculum, needs to develop at least a strong foundational understanding of the authors that they're studying, and by extension, of their author's world at the time when they were writing a specific text. So from my experience of teaching students context, I've noticed that a lot of us struggle to integrate the history or biography with the literary content. For example, the Scottish James I succeeded the English throne in 1603, and Shakespeare wrote a play about kingship set in Scotland in 1605. Okay, so might there be a possible link between these two things? And how might we be able to demonstrate our awareness of this possible link in our own essays? So what I've also picked up on is that some students don't find context particularly interesting to study, perhaps because a lot of it is a bunch of historical information that isn't directly relevant to the story or the literary text, which just makes it seem like one onerous additional set of stuff to remember. So today, I want to show you all a brilliant way of using AI to make studying literary context so much more fun and interesting, and more importantly, much more easier to remember and to integrate in your own understanding of a literary text. Now, to do this, I'm going to bring Shakespeare to life and interview him about the why, what, how, and when of his writing of the play Macbeth. So by the end of this video, I promise that Shakespeare's reincarnation is going to help you understand and remember the context of the Scottish play that much better, and to be able to better integrate this information in your own essays going forward. So sit tight and watch the time traveling happen. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the AI the scope of information that I wanted to draw on, right? So I'd pick a reputable one like the Encyclopedia Britannica, where it has a comprehensive page on Shakespeare's biography and virtually actually every famous classical author. And then I'd specify my role, my context, and my goal, i.e. I am a 16-year-old GCSE English Lit student preparing for an exam on Macbeth. Prepare a list of imagined interview questions I might want to ask Shakespeare with the goal of increasing my interest in the play and strengthening my understanding of the play's context. So let's see what the AI comes up with. So you see that there's this comprehensive list of possible interview questions that I could ask Shakespeare. And while we probably won't need to ask him all of it, I mean, you could, but we're looking at a more targeted goal here of using this interview process to improve our revision, right? So we can definitely pick out a few of them, or at least refine the scope of questions by following up with another prompt like this. I'm about to write an essay titled Explore the Theme of Kingship and Power in Macbeth. If I wanted to understand the historical and political context of this theme as relevant to Macbeth and Shakespeare's time for me to write an essay that is well informed by contextual awareness, what questions should I ask Shakespeare? Okay, super comprehensive, right? What's also really good about this list of questions is that the categories here give us some idea as to what points we might want to discuss in the actual essay and how we might want to structure them. For instance, the divine rights of kings could work as an overarching concept for our exploration of hierarchy and authority as understood in the Renaissance era. And then we want to consider specifically the relationship between James I, Banquo, and the Stuart lineage, as well as the anxieties about political instability resulting from what was a rather abrupt succession. It's also a good idea to consider the gender aspect of power too, since a lot of what Macbeth does in the play is motivated and manipulated by his wife, Lady Macbeth. So it's worth reflecting on whether Shakespeare's portrayal of such a strong, determined, and ruthless female character would be unconventional or shocking for a Renaissance audience, and whether it jars with the prevailing ideas about womanhood at the time. Now, finally, we should also pick out questions about audience response and modern recontextualization, which could help us demonstrate our awareness of the play as a theatrical construct and also reflect on the long-standing legacy and influence of Macbeth as a play that continues to be studied even after 400 years. But this is a lot of information, and we probably don't need all of it if we're writing a practice essay on a specific theme, like kingship and power. So let's refine the list of interview questions and make it even more fit for our purpose. So I might want to follow up like this. Imagine that you are Shakespeare and you're about to be interviewed by a 16-year-old GCSE English Lit student preparing for her exam on Macbeth, and she needs to understand and integrate her knowledge about the context of this play for a practice essay on kingship and power in Macbeth. Below are the questions that she has picked out for you. Please share your thoughts with her in a way that is clear, engaging, and understandable for a modern-day 16-year-old student. And then I'll follow up with these specific questions that I have picked out from the list provided earlier. So let's now take a look at our AI Shakespeare's answers. So what are some key takeaways that I can get from Shakespeare's response here? Well, first, it's clear that legitimate rule was understood back then to be a providentially ordained thing, i.e. not just anyone could be king. So an act of usurpation, like that of Macbeth on Duncan, was bound to bring about social chaos. So true lasting power can only be granted by God, not gained by man. So this is a key piece of contextual idea that I'll need to bear in mind, which I see quite a lot across Shakespeare's answers here. Then there's the situation that's specific to James I, who I now know was Shakespeare's patron based on Shakespeare's answers, which then makes a lot of sense in terms of why Shakespeare might have wanted to include in the play those elements which James was interested in or concerned about, like witchcraft, anxieties about stable rule, affiliation with the Stuart line through Banquo, etc. On the whole, I get the picture that Shakespeare had probably written Macbeth to both flatter and educate the new king, being aware of the need to balance tact with wisdom while demonstrating his patriotism and professionalism as a dramatist and loyalist. But the best thing about learning all of this within the context of an imagined interview and dialogue is that I'm turning the learning process into an interactive one. So instead of passively just reading about a bunch of dry historical facts which I can't really relate to, I now have a much clearer, more integrated idea of how these facts might have influenced and served Shakespeare's writing of the play. It's also actually really fun to imagine myself speaking to a famous author like Shakespeare, and so I really encourage you to dig deep into this process by asking AI Shakespeare, or any AI authors for that matter, more questions as part of your learning about the biographical and historical background of any literary work. Of course, as always with using AI for any kind of purpose, we need to make sure that we are fact-checking the information that's provided. So please make sure that you're diligent in terms of cross-checking any of the specific information in the AI's response. Overall though, I'm willing to bet that using this approach to bringing authors alive with AI is going to help you retain information much better than just reading about this information from a book or website. So do try this out and let me know how it goes. So for more AI learning videos, check out this playlist right here that I've prepared. Otherwise, I have plenty of study videos on Macbeth and Shakespeare that you can watch if you haven't already. Links in the description box below. And if you're interested in learning more about how to use AI to level up your academic studies, please sign up to this in the early access form below, and I'll reach out with more details soon. As always, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button below if you found this video helpful in any way, so that you can encourage me to keep making these useful, innovative English Lit videos for you in the future. And of course, if you haven't already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button below and switch on the bell notification so you never miss out on my future weekly videos. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye!